Last Tuesday, the Rams were trying to trade Todd Gurley. That culminated in an effort on Thursday to unload his salary. They ultimately cut him because he had another $10 million in guaranteed compensation that vested as of Thursday night. And we all knew that it was coming. We'd been talking about it for months. We knew how the contract was structured. The one guy who didn't, apparently, was Todd Gurley. Peter, he told Chris Long of the Greenlight podcast, "I didn't see it coming." How could he not see it coming? Now, it's a great contract for him. We've talked about that earlier. We talked about it last week. He did not lose $49 million over 5 years with the LA Rams, but with another $10 million becoming fully guaranteed and the Rams unable to find a trade partner because of that knee that has deteriorated by all appearances over the past couple of years, yeah, they had to cut him. They had to move on. I don't know whether he's embellishing or whether he was just oblivious. But how could he say that he didn't see this coming when anyone who was paying any attention at all knew that a divorce was inevitable for Todd Gurley and the Rams unless they worked out some alternative deal, and that wasn't happening either?
Mike, I think when you play for Sean McVay, you play for basically a guy who's Pete Carroll Jr. in terms of don't worry, be happy. You know, and everything around here is positive. Everyone is lovely. It's always a sunny day. And in my opinion, that sort of creates the kind of reaction when something like this happens that Todd Gurley basically now talks about. In other words, if he truly never saw it coming, and that is hard to believe, but if he truly never saw it coming, it's because he never got one single indication of that from an uber positive thinking coach like Sean McVay.
And that's an excellent point. And you'll wonder what kind of impact that has over time on the rest of the locker room when they see that this guy is always interacting with everyone in a positive way, but there goes Todd Gurley. There goes this guy. They're shopping Brandon Cooks. And, and it doesn't mesh. And at what point does some of these other guys say, does he really mean what he's saying to me, or is this just part of the effort to get the absolute most out of me until he's done with me? And then when he's done with me, he's just done with me. I thought it was intriguing. The Rams had wanted to talk to Todd Gurley. I thought they wanted to work out something where they could get him to stay. And Gurley wasn't inclined to talk. He said on March 8th, it depends on what the conversation is about. I'm more of a guy where if there ain't nothing to talk about, then there ain't nothing to talk about. But if we got something to talk about, then we can talk. Coach has my number. So he had no clue that there was even anything that was remotely amiss. So maybe you're onto something. They never gave him the vibes that the rest of us obviously picked up from the outside, but from the inside, he felt like he's still his guy.
Mike, do you remember the game last year when Sean McVay on the sidelines took off after John Fossil, the special teams coach? It was a game against Arizona where John Fossil called a fake punt, and that fake punt got blown up by the Arizona Cardinals. And Sean McVay was furious because he thought it was a risk that wasn't worth taking against the defense that punt team had against it. And that was a little bit of a sign to me that Sean McVay says, you know what, you just can't trust everybody. You know, at some point you have to say, hey, listen, be a little bit more responsible.
And it also makes you wonder, underneath the facade, great guy, nice guy, likes to repeat your name to you when he's talking to you, right? He's got all the Dale Carnegie tricks down pat, but there's a fire. Just like all the rest of them, Peter, there is a fire that is burning below because there is an intense competitive nature like all coaches. All right.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.